Did you know that Cardinal Hardware isn't just your ordinary hardware store? They're your one-stop destination for all your hardware needs. As the sole hardware store in town, they take pride in being locally owned and operated, serving the community with dedication and care. Cardinal Hardware is fully stocked with all the essentials you need, ensuring you can find everything you're looking for right in Eunice. Cardinal Hardware in Eunice, another proud sponsor of all Lee County sports and academics.
For over 25 years, Eunice Pump and Supply has been more than just a business. They've been a part of the heartbeat of Eunice. From the oil fields to the classrooms, Eunice Pump and Supply is all in backing the athletes, cheering on scholars, and investing in the future of Lee County. Eunice Pump and Supply takes pride in their hard-working team, their dedication to excellence, and most of all, the youth. Visit Eunice Pump and Supply, 1310 Avenue O in Eunice, and now proudly serving Lovington at 321 North Main. Your hometown partner and a proud supporter of Lee County athletics and academics. Eunice Pump and Supply, local, loyal, and proud to serve.
Thomas Welding. Precision, strength, reliability. Located at 3529 North Del Paso Hobbs, Thomas Welding is your trusted partner for top quality welding and industrial services. They specialize in carbon and stainless welding, operate an ASME stamp code shop, and provide roustabout services, dirt work, equipment rental, sandblasting, and coating. Owned and operated by Justin Thomas, who says we take pride in serving our community and are a proud supporter of Lee County athletics and academics. For expert craftsmanship and dependable service, call Thomas Welding today.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Knollmark Broadcasting's coverage of Eunice Cardinal Sports. Here live in Eunice as the Eunice Lady Cardinals softball team is getting ready for the first pitch versus the Artesia JV Lady Bulldogs. We are live here in Eunice on a strange looking day. It's kind of, it almost looks like winter outside, except it don't feel like winter. It's kind of hazy, kind of gray, you look out toward the outfield and it's, unless it's my eyes, which is very possible, it's kind of blurry looking out across there.
I agree.
It almost looks foggy or blurry or something. I don't know. It's just kind of gray outside. It looks like winter. Feels like summer, and so definitely Definitely a strange-looking day. We are live here in Eunice. The Lady Cardinals are hosting the Artesia JV Lady Bulldogs. And if you know anything about Artesia softball, you know it's pretty dang salty usually. So usually their JV team is pretty decent. It's some of these schools. Was that you?
That was mine.
Oh, okay. Some of these schools you go to, you play their JV, and you get the kids that can't walk and chew bubble gum at the same time.
These gonna look like they can.
Artesia is usually not one of those. They usually don't have too many kids that can't walk and chew bubble gum at the same time. It's a sports town, and over the last 10 years, they've been a heck of a softball town. In fact, there's a young lady going to Baylor with Ovi that played for Artesia. That's one of their pitchers over there, and so they've got some quality softball playing. Usually, historically, that comes through there. I know there for a while they had a coach that had came from Dexter, and I remember a couple of those Dexter players, including her daughters, that all went to Artesia with her when she went over there. So here we go, getting ready. We got Martinez in the circle, and she fires that first pitch for what I thought was a strike, but the ump didn't agree with me. He'll call ball number one. I do not have an Artesia roster, so we will go rosterless with them, and we'll just say Artesia player takes a strike. I've got
number 16.
Yeah, I've got our group, but I do not have the Artesia group whatsoever. And there's a drive just over the stretched arm of Jones, and that's going to turn two as number 16 going to drop in for a double on the first swing of the game. And so next up will be number 12, and she'll slide up here into the batter's box. And so once again, runner now on second. No outs here. We're in the top of the first. This young lady's going to take a look over at Coach, who's giving her the business. He's giving her the wipe, the forearm, the thumbs up, the thumbs down, all of that good stuff. And there goes the steal headed toward third. And that young lady's now standing just down the street from home plate. And it's
not the way we wanted to start.
No, definitely not. Got a 1-0 count here with a runner on third. Here comes the pitch. That one's going to be low, and she thought about coming. And she was halfway down the line when she decided to turn and come back.
Well, maybe not. Let's check and see. My thumb was looking good there.
Just trying to look and see.
And a foul ball.
We got
strike one.
We got started a little late. We were here in plenty of time, but then we just kind of jumped on. It was like 1 minute we were sitting here, and the next minute we are going. And so shout out to Evie and everyone back at the station. We appreciate your help for sure. As there's a pitch that's going to be high.
3-1.
So we got a 3-1 count. Evie says the audio is loud and clear, so I think we're good. So here we go, 3-1. Here comes the pitch. Martinez fires that one down the middle, and it gets fouled off over into the parking lot toward the Artesia bus. So we got a full count here, 3 balls, 2 strikes. Looking over there, I know the middle school, I believe, is at a track meet today. And there's a drive right down the third base line, foul.
Yeah, I think that's where Rosie's at.
Yes, that's why he wasn't going to be here. I know Chloe's been working with a couple of those middle school kids after hours, and I know she's trying to pay attention to how they were doing. And so best of luck to the middle school Cardinals as they are off doing their thing. And there is a drive into center. That single's going to score a run, so an RBI single for that young lady. And so coming up next, looks like a left-hander. That's number 17. And she's going to step up here ready to go. Martinez in the circle, Maddie Martinez. This Artesia team looks like they can hit the ball, and that ball was driven foul on the first pitch.
Yeah, they look like some sluggers.
Yeah, for sure. So far, it has definitely been some slugging. So 0-1. Artesia's already put 1 run on the board, and that one's going to be low and outside. They're going to throw it down, and it's going to go just over the outstretched arms of short into center. The center fielder, I believe that's Pierce, comes up doing a really good job backing him up back there and gets it back in quickly, kept the runner from advancing. But in the meantime, the runner now stands on second. So here's that pitch slightly outside for ball two. 2 balls, 1 strike here to 17. They've got the Maddox Foundation thing going this evening.
Oh, yeah, I heard that.
And they're going to have Jeff Foxworthy over there.
That would have been a good one.
Yeah, so my wife had tickets. I told her I couldn't go. Then I got to looking at the schedule here, and I thought, you know what? We might be able to squeeze it. So there's a drive, and that's going to go into center field. It's going to score a run. The batter going to make her turn over there, and number 12 going to run across home and score another one. So still no outs as Artesia now leads 2-0. And coming to the plate, I can't see this young lady. She's kind of sideways to us. And then the 15. All right, thank you. And the ump kind of had his head in the way when she did take a swing. I couldn't see nothing but his noggin. And,
that's a ball, I suppose.
Yep. A 1-0 here to 1-5. Martinez throwing the ball well in the right place, but so far Artesia's just been able to put the bat on the ball and place it out there in the outfield and give us fits. So 2-0 here. Martinez on the hill, pitching to 1-5. Here comes the pitch. That one's low and inside.
She'll be taking on this one, I'm assuming.
Yep. So now we got a 3-0 count with a runner on first. No outs here. We're in the top of the first. Just got started. And that one is right down the middle.
Just need to do more of them.
Yes, absolutely.
Play a little defense out here, ladies.
3 balls, 1 strike. Here comes the pitch. Swung on and hit high up toward left field. Left fielder Dillard coming up. She's going to make the catch. And that'll keep the runner at first as down goes 1-5 on the flyout. So that'll bring up number 7 as she heads up there. I'm going to pull out the glasses so maybe I can see.
You see what you're doing?
Oh, man, I'm older I get, the more blind I get. There's a little chip shot towards second. Second, Zamora, she's going to scoop it up, underhanded over to first. And they will get the lead runner, or I'm sorry, the trail runner in that case, on the ground out. That will advance the runner over to second. So with the runner on scoring or in scoring position, here comes number 5 to the plate. We've got 2 outs. It's a 2-0 lead for Artesia. Here comes the first pitch. It's down in the, what you would say, the dirt, but it's turf.
The brown turf.
Yep. Did you say LeBron?
LeBron turf.
LeBron turf.
The brown.
So 1-0 here. Here comes the next pitch. That one's driven deep towards center. Center fielder Pierce gonna make the grab. And so down goes 5. And that'll move us to the bottom of the first. The Lady Cards trail 2-0. You're listening to No Mark Broadcasting's coverage of Eunice Cardinal Sports.
Around here, we work hard on the field, in the classroom, and in life. And companies like Parker Energy, they're in our corner. Since 2006, they've delivered expert transport, pump truck, back truck, and disposal services. But more than that, they've supported us, our schools, our sports, our future. Thanks, Parker Energy, for showing up and believing in what we can do.
Outlaw Grill, the perfect spot for family dinners and date nights. Craving something extraordinary? Outlaw Grill serves up delicious fire-grilled steaks, fresh seafood, and authentic Italian pasta, flavors you won't find anywhere else. Dine in or call ahead for a quick and easy gourmet meal in Hobbs, 575-392-2012, or the Eunice location, 575-942-2466. Proudly supporting Lee County athletics and academics, Outlaw Grill is your go-to for great food and community spirit. Come taste the difference at Outlaw Grill today. Eunice Municipal Schools is proud to serve their students and community every single day. From kindergarten to high school, Eunice Schools has stood strong, delivering quality education, building resilience, and shaping tomorrow's leaders. This year, Eunice Schools is focused on more growth, more learning, and more Eunice pride because Eunice is on the move and the schools aren't slowing down. To the students, families, staff, and the entire Eunice community, thank you for being a part of something special. Let's make this year one to remember.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to No Mark Broadcasting's coverage of Eunice Cardinal Sports here live in Eunice as Eunice is hosting the Artesia JV. As I mentioned in my pregame, this is probably not your typical JV team.
No.
Artesia just usually is not normal, if that makes sense when it comes to sports.
We could see that in the first half of the inning.
They lead 2-0. We move into the bottom of the first. Riley Dillard comes to the plate. Dillard playing out there in left field had a nice catch a while ago to get us out of that mess we were in the top of the first. And so Dillard comes up to the plate. That first pitch going to be high and outside for ball number 1. Trying to see here, just looking at some of the stats on Max Preps. I'll remind all them coaches out there, make sure to enter your stuff.
Yeah,
The NMAA says that Max Preps is your stat hub and that's where all your rosters and everything are supposed to be. And I will tell you that probably 75% of coaches do not put their stuff in there.
Yeah.
And I've heard different ones, as down goes Dillard on the ground out. I've heard different ones say, well, that makes it, where people can scout you. In today's world, they can scout you if you ain't hiding nothing. Too many of people like us sitting around here broadcasting everything. They can watch every game you got for the
like
most
somebody
part.
worried about their phone.
Yes.
Government's watching. Well, boy, they can look on any.
And there's the first pitch to Pierce, and it's a fastball right down the pipe. Pierce took a big cut at it.
Yeah, wanted that one.
Yep.
Yeah, watch Snowden if you don't think they can get anything they want.
Yep.
You're watching TV, they might be watching you.
Bella Pierce hits one over toward third. Third going to have problems with it, and so Pierce going to reach. I'm going to call it a single here on my end, as she drove it right at the third baseman, kind of one-hopped. It was a tough ball to keep in front of her. The third baseman was able to keep it in front of her, but then just couldn't finish it.
Fumbled it.
Here comes Haley Jones, young lady, is had a heck of a season. She's batting almost 800 for the season. I show her right now on Max Preps, and it looks like they're one game short of update, but at 794.
Pretty close to 800.
That's pretty dang close. So 1 ball, no strikes here to Jones. Last week's Hobbs New Sun Player of the Week, or Athlete of the Week. And so Jones steps back in there wearing number 1. Got a runner on first, and Pierce that would really like to run around them bases, as that pitch is high for ball 3. So 3-0 here to Jones. Young lady from Artesia, she's got some, she can throw the fastball.
Yep, got a hard fastball.
And that one's right down the middle for ball 4, high. And so Jones going to earn the walk. And just watching her, watch a lot of these pitchers. She definitely throws harder than anybody I've seen this year, but it looks like it's one pitch over and over and over.
I haven't got too many.
I hadn't seen much movement on it so far. Now I better knock on wood, or she'll
Curve it in, huh?
Yep, and there's a pitch
Boy,
down
that
that
looked
outside corner. And this is Leilene Zamora. Zamora with a home run in the last game. She's batting just over 500, well, just below 600. 591 is what I show. And there's a drive towards center. Center fielder going to come up and make the catch. Pierce thought about tagging, and then she hustles back. And so Zamora goes down on the line out.
That'll make it 2 away.
And so that'll bring up Nieto, the catcher for this Lady Cardinal team, as she heads up to the plate. Runners on first and second for Nieto.
See if we can get one of them 2-out rallies here.
Yep, we're able to do that in the last game, and that first pitch is going to be just outside for ball 1. This young lady's got 14 hits on the season, according to Max Preps. And like I said, I think they're 1 game short, so may have a few more than that. As that pitch is inside for ball 2. The umpire turned around and eyeballed everybody. I'm not sure what happened there.
Somebody hollered at him?
I guess he didn't like something that was said. I got these headsets on, so I can't hear.
I couldn't hear nothing. But I think he's doing a pretty good job.
You ever have like your earphones on when you were a kid and somebody says something to you and you're like, that's how this is.
I can tell you a kid that does. My grandson does that all the time.
Yeah, I guarantee you we can't hear nothing. What's going on? Unless you look right at us and say something, then we're like, What is that? Is it Rush Hour where is it Chris Tucker says, "Do you not understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?" That's how I am sometimes, as that pitch is right down the inside corner for ball number 4. That was a close one. Nieto earns the walk, and she'll head over. And we've got the bases loaded for the senior Lizzie Gaetan. And Coach Kemple going to get a courtesy runner in over there on first. That'll give Nieto an opportunity to go have that catching gear ready. That way we're not wasting time between innings just in case. So Gaetan comes to the plate. Senior, we need her here for sure.
Well, the wind is blowing right in her face, so she's going to have to get it over. Gaetan
has got on-base percentage. She's second on the team with a 750 on-base percentage.
Be a good time for her right here.
Yep. And there's that first pitch, and that one is just out. Oh,
wow.
Delayed call for the strike. So
10
he's going
minutes
to.
later.
He calls the strike right there. Here comes the next one, and that one's going to be a little high, and he's going to say that she went around.
My goodness.
And so the umpire is looked like he said she swung. I don't think he can see from that angle, but he says he can, so he's going to make that call. That makes it 0-2.
Well, there's 2 umpires, I guess.
Yeah, well, but this one, and there's a chopper down the first base going to go foul. This one over here, he pointed out there like he wanted that person with that's down there is the Eunice coach on the first base line, and then he made the call with the hand like, "Ooh, yeah, that's a strike. She went." In the box, babe. So 0-2. Here comes the next pitch, and that one's way high and outside. So the first ball 1. 1 ball, 2 strikes here.
Trying to get her to reach out there.
Yep. I'd like for her to reach out and touch someone.
I would too, like a ball, real hard.
Yep. Even just a slow roller out into the outfield would be very nice. Here comes the next pitch, and she swings, and down she goes. And so Gaetan goes down on the strikeout. And that is going to be the first strikeout, I believe, of the inning for Artesia's pitcher. And anyway, I think I'll just keep it here. We've got quite a sports week this week. We've got games on Friday, I believe, baseball. We've got games on Saturday, I believe, baseball that the station has us assigned to cover. And, when I was trying to figure out today's, the station sent me a message saying to cover today's game. I had to reach out to Miss Erica Jones over here and say, hey, do we got a game? Because the schedule that I had did not show today's game on it.
Probably an extra game, maybe.
Yeah, it wasn't on what I had, and so anyway, I was like, the station's got us assigned to come cover a game, but it ain't on the schedule. So anyway, I learned that it was on the schedule. Yeah. So anyway, so here we are. We'll cover this game, and then we've got games on Friday and Saturday. Luckily for me, this game was an early game, or I might have been in a pickle.
Go watch old Foxworthy, huh?
Yeah, well, and got a dinner, and I don't know what all that the wife, any of that kind of stuff when it involves the Maddox Foundation, they're always doing things and taking good care of us, and so that first pitch looked like it was right down the middle, and I can only assume that he thought that one was high, but, he calls it a ball. So 1 ball. And there's a drive high into shallow left. Dillard trying to get there. She dives for it, laid out, and that ball hit the turf, and as she laid out, it looked like it come up and hit her about the chin or the chest.
Might have bonked her.
And she hops right back up. She's a pretty tough rascal as she heads back over to left.
That grass is a lot softer than that gym floor, and she hit it every time.
Well, yeah, that is true. That is true. But that grass ain't that grass is a carpet burn waiting to happen, and there's a drive foul.
Yeah, you don't want to slide on it, do you?
No, it'll eat you up. It'll definitely eat you up. My paper almost blew away.
The wind's trying to blow this a little bit.
Yeah, it definitely is. Here comes the next pitch, and that one's going to get down low and inside. This number 24 at the plate here. And since this is JV, I didn't see anything on Max Preps.
Yeah, they usually don't on JV.
There's a chopper toward third.
2 balls, 2 strikes.
You know, the problem with these JV games is they don't give you anything as far as points goes in the max preps, which some people say, well, max preps don't mean anything. There's a drive high to left. Dillard trying to get under it. She's going to make the catch. Yeah, they don't give you anything because it's like the game didn't really exist for winning purposes because you've beat a non-varsity opponent. So it doesn't give you anything there. But if you lose, it gives you a deduction because now you've got it messes with your wins and losses and that percentage. Jones scoops it up and fires it over. What a play by Jones and a good dig by Klaus over at first is 8.
That's the kind of stuff that makes you the player of the week, don't it?
All right, and this one's number 1. All right, thank you. Let's see. So a good play there by Jones. And coming up next will be number 1. And so, yeah, anyway, those games with those JV teams are just tough. You need the games, and you got to get the games. And when you're set in the part of state where we set, you got to take what you can get. Yeah. But it's also a catch-22. I mean, I know when I was coaching, there was a couple of years there where the Hobbs girls, like always, were ranked in the top 2 or 3 in the state. And they would offer to play their JV against us. And there's a good play by Gaetan who fires it to first and gets her as Klaus makes a good grab. Yeah, they'd offer to play our varsity with their JV. And it was like, you know what, we played them in the summer, and we typically beat them, but it was always a competitive game.
Well, it can't help you, but it can't hurt you.
And it was like, you know, it helps to have the game.
Right.
But if you win, you beat a non-varsity opponent, so it doesn't give you any points or anything. But if you lose, it hurts your overall winning percentage, which is part of the whole calculation at the end when they're seeding you for state. And so it was like, you know, it just wasn't a good deal for us one way or the other. And so, you know, as terrible as it sounds, we had some teams that some of these really small schools that would be like 0-15 on the season, and you could go play them, and they were a varsity team. And although the game wasn't anywhere as good as the game would have been against a JV Hobbs team, you got that win, and that sure helped at the end of the season when it came seed time more than that game against those really good JV teams. And so I always look at that like early in the season, especially when you go to a school like Eunice. You go and you see, like, say, the JOW tournament every year. The Hobbs boys JV is always down there. And Hobbs basketball, boys, girls, is always good.
Oh, yeah.
And so when you go down and you play the Hobbs JV team, it's like, oh, you know that's going to be a tough game. And if you lose, it hurts you. But if you win, it's basically like you never had that game as far as the points and the Max Preps algorithm goes. And so you're danged if you do, danged if you don't. And so stepping up here to the plate will be Maddie Martinez. Here's the first pitch, and it's high and inside for ball 1. Jazzy Klaus on deck. The senior had knee problems, hadn't got to play much mini sports the last couple of years, so it's neat to see her back out there. And that pitch is right down the outside corner for strike 1. 1-1 to Martinez.
He takes a long time to call strikes.
Yes, he's got that delayed, and maybe he says it, but in the situation we're in, we can't hear what he says.
Right. No, we can't hear it.
And so all of a sudden, you just right about the time you say there's a ball, then he gives it the fist pump. And so 1 ball, 2 strikes here to Martinez. Here comes the next pitch, and that one
should be high.
A little high. So 2 balls, 2 strikes here. Martinez, this is a little pitcher-on-pitcher crime here, and she swings and misses at that one, and so down goes Martinez on the strikeout. That is the second K for this Artesia pitcher. I'm going to call her number 7. Maybe I'll call her John Elway or something. Or that may age me a little bit. Yeah.
He's a part owner now, isn't he?
I think so. So here comes Klaus to the plate. She takes that first one low and outside for ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes. So back in the circle. Here comes the pitch. Fired right down the middle. And Klaus he said she didn't swing. So, You know, I guarantee you Lizzie Gaetan didn't swing that far a while ago, and they called her for the swing.
That's a makeup call.
Well, this guy's over here now, so he's the one that made that call, and that pitch is inside.
3-0.
So 3 balls, no strikes here.
Should be 3.
Is it 3-0 or 2-1?
Oh, he called a strike.
And that one's so it was 3-0, and so now that'll be the walk, and so that's okay. Klaus heads over to first, and so Klaus with the walk. That was an interesting response there from the ump as he squatted over and kneeled and looked at where the catcher's glove was for a second or two and then made the call. And so this is Garcia, I believe. Audrey Garcia comes to the plate. Got 1 out. We've got Klaus standing on first. Number 7, Elway in the circle. Here's that pitch, and she slows that one down and throws it to the inside.
Yep.
And so 1 ball, 1 strike now on the board. 1 out. The Artesia faithful, they are for sure. And that one's right down that outside, and that one's going to be a strike. So 1 ball, 2 strikes, and he's going to turn around and look again.
Somebody's going to have to go home early if they're not careful.
Here comes the next pitch. It's down the middle, fouled into the screen. As he turns around again and looks over here. I guess he's not liking something that somebody's saying to him. I'm going to have to take my headphone off in a minute so I can hear what they're saying. Cause
we got our listener up here listening for us.
So 1 ball, 2 strikes. Here comes the next pitch, fouled into the screen again. So still 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Staying alive.
Yep. Rosie down there at the track meet. I need to get in touch with the station and see if we can try to do the
Wally Goodman?
Yes, see if we can cover that track meet. And that one's in the inside, so 2 balls, 2 strikes here. 2-2. 1 out. 2-0 is your score. That pitcher didn't like that call. She gave the call and she said no, and then fires that one right by her. So down goes Garcia on the strikeout, the 3rd K for number 7, this pitcher. And so now we've worked our way back to the top of the lineup. Dillard comes to the plate. She's got 2 outs, got a runner on first. Dillard, the left-hander. And she's going to step in there ready to do it. As that first pitch is low and outside for ball 1. 1-0. Dillard in there ready. Here comes the pitch. There's a drive. It's a little chopper towards second. Second trying to get there, and Dillard's going to beat it out. So Dillard going to beat it out on the single.
Right. Staying alive still.
And Klaus now stands on second. Klaus was giving it everything she's got, Captain, as she was headed over to second.
Yep.
Her little wheels were going as fast as they'd go.
Wheels were rotating to the right.
And that'll bring up Bella Pierce. Young lady had a single her last trip to the plate. She steps in there ready. Here comes the pitch. Oh, and a swing and a miss. And, you know, her bat looked like it was about a foot from that ball, whether that ball looked like it was a bit outside. But it was right lined up with it. It was just about a foot
Got to get along
short.
the bat.
Yes, going to either have to get along. Oh, and there's a chopper right to the pitcher. Pitcher throws it over to first, and so down goes Pierce on the ground out, and that'll move us out of the second. As we move to the third, the Cardinals trail 2-0. You're listening to No Mark Broadcasting's coverage of Eunice Cardinal Sports.
This message is fired up and fueled by Redbird LP Gas Company. Bart Parker, class of 71 and proud state champ in both basketball and baseball, and the whole awesome crew at Redbird are cheering loud for the Eunice Cardinals. Whether it's academics or athletics, Redbird knows you're giving it your all, and Redbird sees your determination. Balancing books and the ball field isn't easy, but you're doing it with heart, hustle, and pride. Redbird is proud of you, Cardinals. Keep soaring. From Bart Parker and the Redbird crew, behind you all the way. Go Redbirds!
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to No Mark Broadcasting's coverage of Eunice Cardinal Sports here live in Eunice as the Cardinals trail Artesia 2-0. We're in the top of the third, and there's a chip shot that goes foul just over the first base dugout. The Cardinals gave up 2 runs in the bottom of the first, and since then, yeah, that's my bad. You are right. That is correct. In the top of the first, and they have been kind of neck and neck the rest of the way, and so we will see if they can keep the floodgates from coming here. And there's a drive high up over the first baseman, and Jazzy Klaus comes up and makes the grab, and so a good play there by Jazzy as down goes 16 on the fly out, and that'll bring up number 12. Young lady had an RBI single her first trip to the plate. And now with 1 out here in the third, she'll head up to the plate. Right-hander, Martinez in the circle for the Cardinals. Maddie Martinez, as she throws that one right down the inside. Jones scoops it off the turf, fires it over first, and just a tad late. Jones did a really good job. Had to try to throw that one after she trying to get up off the ground at the same time as she stretched to her right, our left, made the stop, but then had to throw back across her body, and by the time she could get up and make the throw, just a tad shy. So standing on first now with the single, and there's another single going to head down the line, scooped up by Dillard. Dillard throws it over, and they're going to make the tag, and they get the lead runner. Lizzie Gaetan kind of turned around and was just swiping. She wasn't sure where that runner was, but she was swiping anyway. Swiper, no swiping, as she gets her. And Dillard with a great play out there in left field.
Yep, that was a good hustle.
I felt like I was watching Dora the Explorer there for a second, as that first pitch is going to roll across the turf all the way up there, almost like you were bowling on that one. Now, you know, I saw something on TV the other day that I never had seen before, is a pitch almost exactly like that, but it was a slow roller, and it rolled all the way and just barely rolled into the foot of the batter, and she dropped her bat and headed to first. And I guess in softball,
as long as it touches you,
if it touches you like that, it's a walk. And there's a drive to deep left, and Dillard with a great play way out there as she was on their horse running back there and made the grab deep in left field, and that'll get the Lady Cardinals out of the top of the third. We move to the bottom of the third. You're listening to No Mark Broadcasting's coverage of Eunice Cardinal Sports.
Guns Up Services is a proud supporter of the Eunice community and the Eunice Cardinals. Guns Up Services has been in business almost 15 years and is family owned and operated. Located at 2105 Avenue O in Eunice, Guns Up is your trusted vacuum truck, winch truck, frac tank, rental equipment, and dirt work provider. Guns Up Services in Eunice wants to cheer on the Eunice Cardinals and wish them luck this sports season. Guns Up Services, another proud supporter of all Lee County athletics.
Around here, we work hard on the field, in the classroom, and in life. And companies like Parker Energy, they're in our corner. Since 2006, they've delivered expert transport, pump truck, back truck, and disposal services. But more than that, they've supported us, our schools, our sports, our future. Thanks, Parker Energy, for showing up and believing in what we can do.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to No Mark Broadcasting's coverage of Eunice Cardinal Sports here live in Eunice. The Lady Cards trail 2-0, and Haley Jones comes to the plate. She swings at that first one or takes it. I'm not sure. I looked down, and she's got 1 strike. So now that we're back, there's a chip toward third. The third baseman, it hits her glove and bounces away. And so Jones going to reach That third baseman was trying to get there. She was giving it everything she's got. It goes off the heel of her glove and then ricochets onto the ground, and so Jones stands on first.
Almost like a bunt. Almost.
Yes, that's exactly what that was, a pop fly bunt with a swing, if that makes any sense.
Some kind of a bunt.
So Jones now on first. Zamora chops one towards second. Second going to scoop it up. It does move the runner over to second as Zamora goes down on the ground out on the fielder's choice.
But now we have one in scoring position.
Yep. And so now Nieto comes up to the plate. Runner on second is Jones. Nieto, one out. Here comes the pitch, and that one's just a bit inside for ball one. So back to the circle, number 7. We've been calling her Elway.
Yep.
Here comes the next pitch, and it's driven high into foul territory. First baseman trying to get there, can't get to it. All of that for a strike. So the board shows 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out here. It's a half a rock boogie oogie oogie.
Yeah.
It's a 2-0 ball game. Here comes the pitch. Ooh, and it's a slow mover right down the middle. Oh, man, I guess so.
Yeah.
So 2 balls, 1 strike. That was one of those that you step into and
let it
send
ride.
it to the wall. Here comes the next pitch, and that one's hit high and foul back over the first base dugout.
We should have got that one like on the last one.
Yeah.
That kind of a swing on that last one might have done us some good.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Here comes the next pitch, and that one's hit
Foul ball.
foul back into the screen. So still 2-2. 1 out in a 2-0 game here in a kind of a hazy, just a strange looking day.
It is,
I mean, like I said, it looks like winter, but except the temperature is definitely not winter, and that one's high for ball 3. So we got a 3-2-1 count up there. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. I think we got Artemis trying to take off in the morning. 3-2-1. I'd like to see some Artemis off this bat. And there's
there it is.
a hit trying to get it down. Oh, and it just getting to it.
That was a good catch.
And that was a good catch as Nieto just didn't quite get it over the short, so she's going to go down on the fly out.
4 or 5 feet out there. She probably would have.
Yes, I agree. Gaetan now steps to the plate with a runner in scoring position in Jones. 2-0 is the score, and that first pitch is going to get fouled into the screen for strike 1. So 0-1 to Gaetan. Gaetan gets ready, going to walk back up there. Here comes the next pitch.
Oh, man.
You know, we talked at the beginning about her having that fastball, and it kind of just seemed like that was all she's throwing. Now she started throwing a little change-up that's pretty slow moving, and she's gotten some people to either stand there and watch it, and there goes Gaetan on the strikeout. And so down she goes. That is the 4th K for number 7. As we move to the bottom of the 4th, your score. Bottom, right? Yeah. Bottom. No, top. Well, top of the 4th. Yeah, we go to the top, right? Yeah. Anyway,
yes,
we'll be back. You're listening to No Mark Broadcasting's coverage of Eunice Cardinal Sports.
For over 25 years, Eunice Pump and Supply has been more than just a business. They've been a part of the heartbeat of Eunice. From the oil fields to the classrooms, Eunice Pump and Supply is all in backing the athletes, cheering on scholars, and investing in the future of Lee County. Eunice Pump and Supply takes pride in their hard-working team, their dedication to excellence, and most of all, the youth. Visit Eunice Pump and Supply, 1310 Avenue O in Eunice, and now proudly serving Lovington at 321 North Main. Your hometown partner and a proud supporter of Lee County athletics and academics. Eunice Pump and Supply, local, loyal, and proud to serve.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to No Mark Broadcasting's coverage of Eunice Cardinal Sports here live in Eunice. The Cardinals trail 2-0 And we are in the fourth. There's a chopper, whatever, over toward third. Gaetan scoops it, fires it to first. And down goes, I believe that was 7. And now number 5 will come back to the plate. Young lady lined out her first trip to the plate, a right-hander. She's going to step in there ready to go. 1 out here. Martinez in the circle. There's a drive towards short. Jones scoops it, fires it over, and a one-hopper by Klaus. And a good field in play there by Jones. Jones fired it over, and Klaus did a really good job of grabbing it off the one-hop. And so down goes number 5, and that'll bring up number 24. 24 with a fly out, her first trip to the plate. In there ready, and she swings and misses at that one. And on the throwback.
Top of that first inning, it's been pretty even.
Yeah, I concur for sure. I concur. That next pitch is inside.
Got the umpire ducking and dodging.
Yep. Yep. So 1 ball, 1 strike. Artesia, the city of champions. Here comes the pitch, and it's hit right back toward the pitcher. Zamora going to come in, scoop it up, fires it over to first, and some good infield play by the Cardinals as they get them out of it. And so anyway, we'll move to the bottom of the fourth. Your score 2-0. You're listening to No Mark Broadcasting's coverage of Eunice Cardinal Sports.
Eunice Wrecker and Rental offers professional and reliable 24-hour roadside services in Lee County, light medium-duty towing and recovery, fuel deliveries, jump starts, lockouts, and tire changes. They also haul off unwanted vehicles to help clean up your property. We have 20-plus years of experience. We are fully licensed and insured. Call us at 575-394-HOOK. That's 575-394-4665. Eunice Wrecker and Rental is currently hiring Class A CDL and regular drivers for the wrecking yard. Eunice Wrecker, located at 44 North New Mexico Highway 248 in Eunice, New Mexico, mile marker 1.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to No Mark Broadcasting's coverage of Eunice Cardinal Sports. Here live in Eunice, the Cardinals lead 2-0 over Artesia. This is the JV Lady Bulldogs. And the Cardinals just got to get something going with the bats. They've played well in the field so far. And Maddie Martinez, the pitcher for this Cardinal team, comes to the plate. So Martinez squares away. She's going to bunt, and she bunts it foul. You know, if that ball is 6 inches to the right, she's standing on first, because she was almost on first by the time that ball got to the third baseman. Just didn't quite get the angle of the bat right when she laid it down. So 0-1. Here comes Martinez, and she takes that one right down the middle for strike 2. So now we got a 2-0 or 0-2 count.
Now you got to defend that plate.
Yep. So 0-2 here for Maddie. Here comes the pitch. Big slow pitch that just kind of stayed a little bit high, but it was a close one. So 1 ball, 2 strikes. Here comes the next one, and that one's high and inside. So now we got a 2-2 count. 2 balls, 2 strikes here. And here comes the next one. It's hit foul right up into us here. So that keeps Martinez alive. 2 balls, 2 strikes. So stepping back in there is Martinez. This number 7, who we've been calling Elway, she's done a good job. And there's a, man.
I thought he was gonna get her.
I did too. I thought he rung her up right there. I was already
Must
saying.
have been a little low.
Yeah, so 3 balls, 2 strikes here. So we got a full count now to Martinez. Let's see if she can put the bat on the ball. Here she swings at that one, hits it over toward third, and it's going to stay foul. And so it finds the turf.
Well, she's been on first a couple of times.
Yes,
already.
she has. Now we just got to either take that pitch that's a ball to get over there, or put the bat on the ball to get over there. One or the other. Either whack-a-mole or walk-a-mole. One or the other. Here comes the pitch. And that one's driven foul right back into it. She's staying alive. She's It's like Rosie, that song he used to listen to when he was in high school. Staying alive, staying alive. I think that's back about Rosie's high school days, don't you?
Probably so.
Yeah. So 3 balls, 2 strikes here to Martinez. Stepping in there ready. Here comes the pitch, and that one's going to be high, and so she'll head over to first. And so Martinez earns the walk. And now coming up will be Jazzy Klaus, the senior.
Give it a ride, Jazzy.
Young lady walked her last trip to the plate. And then looks like we're going to have a courtesy runner. As coming in is number 5. Johnny 5 is alive. That is Macy. We've got a Macy sighting for you Pascals, for all you Pascal fans out there. Macy standing on first here in the varsity softball game. Come on, Mace Diggity. Here comes the pitch. It's a drive. Man, she hit that one hard, just foul. But, man, if you straighten that out just a little bit, and Macy would have been showing us her wheels.
She's ready.
So 0-1 here to Klaus. Here comes the pitch. She takes that one for strike 1, or strike 2, I'm sorry. So 0-2 to I'm getting Macy and Jazzy mixed
Jazzy,
up here.
Give her something to run for.
Come on, Jazzy. Shout out to our main man, Bob Klaus. He's probably watching. Here comes the pitch. That one's going to be just a bit outside for ball 1. 1 ball, 2 strikes here. Runner standing on first is Macy. I bet we've probably got a David Pascal watching somewhere.
Yeah, most likely.
Here comes the next pitch. Shout out to the Pascal fam. Kirk might actually make it through a game here. I mean, he might not walk home. During basketball season, he come walking by my house once. I was like, I wonder what he's doing. He said he had to walk. There's a chopper right up toward the pitcher. Pitcher going to scoop it and get Jazzy, but Jazzy has advanced Macy to second. So Jazzy goes down on the fielder's choice.
1 away.
And now they'll bring up Garcia, Audrey Garcia.
Just trade places. That's all you need to do.
So 1 out showing on the board in a 2-0 game. See if we can get Macy around, and that first pitch is swung on and missed for strike 1. So Elway, number 7 in the circle, wearing the orange. Here comes the next pitch, and that one is
a little high maybe.
And that ump stayed down in his little squat and staring position for a while. I thought he was calling it, but apparently not. So 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. Here comes the pitch, and that one is down the middle. So that one's a strike. So 1 ball, 2 strikes.
That was 2 balls, or two. It was 1 strike.
So he's saying that was 3 strikes. So apparently he's saying that Garcia has struck out.
Man,
everybody in the stadium appears confused. And so that brings us back to the top of the lineup. Riley Dillard, young lady, had a ground out and a single in her first 2 trips to the plate. She's up there ready. Here comes the pitch. She drives that one foul right back toward us. Like a turtle, for strike number 1. Yeah, I'm a little confused over the last one.
Yeah, he didn't call. I mean, maybe it's that one he didn't really show.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
So 0-1 here, 2 outs. Here comes the next pitch. A little change up. And Riley wasn't going to swing. Then she decided to swing, and she was kind of in between. And she takes or swings at strike 2. So 0-2 here. Here comes the next pitch, and she drives that one right down the line. It's going to be fair. No.
Wow.
Aye, that looked good to me.
Sure did.
Man, looked good from here, but the umpire saw it different, and so he's going to say that's a foul ball for strike number 2
see why
here.
That guy was hollering at him. Go ahead, holler at him some more, hell.
So 0-2, man, that looked good.
Sure did.
And there's a chopper right up toward the pitcher. Pitcher going to grab it, makes the turn, and fires it over to first, and they're going to get Dillard.
Man, that should have been 2 outs.
So down goes Dillard on the ground out. And so we will move to the 5th. The Lady Cardinals trail 2-0. You're listening to No Mark Broadcasting's coverage of Eunice Cardinal Sports.
NMR Pipeline is a highly qualified, dedicated company, leading in performance with management and employees who've provided over 45 years of service in pipeline maintenance and construction within the oil and gas industry. NMR Pipeline, 300 South Main in Eunice, or call 394-0144 for more information. Again, 394-0144. NMR Pipeline is proud to be a supporter of all Lee County athletics and academics.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to No Mark Broadcasting's coverage of Eunice Cardinal Sports here live in Eunice. The Lady Cards trail Artesia JV 2-0. Had a good game so far in that first pitch. A slow change up down the outside. He's going to say that was a little high, I'm assuming, for ball number 1. 1 ball, no strikes here. Back in there ready. Here comes the next one. A little foul down the third base line for strike 1. 1 ball, 1 strike here. No outs. And we are in the top of the 5th. Here comes the next pitch, and that one's going to be a little inside for ball 2. So 2-1. This is number 8 for this team, and she grounded out her last trip to the plate. And there's a drive into center. It's way back into right center field. It's going to go off the fence. Bella's going to make the grab and quickly got it back in and made a close play there at second. So Pierce does a good job grabbing it off the fence and slinging it back in and made a close play at second. But all of that to say, number 8 just got the double.
It was almost a bad decision going to 2.
Yeah.
But she made it.
So that'll bring up number 1. She had a ground out her last trip to the plate. And she's now got a runner on second in scoring position with no outs here as we're in the top of the 5th. Here comes the next pitch. Swung on and missed for strike 1. 1 ball, 1 strike here.
Well, you know, he's real decisive on them ones that we can see. I mean, do like that whenever they.
Yeah, when it's a close one and everybody's not sure in the stadium. And there's a high, hard hit fly that goes off the turf and almost got a extra 100 points. But anyway, didn't quite get them here on this one. But 1 ball, 2 strikes here. Here comes the next pitch. That one's going to be just a little bit high.
2-2.
So 2 balls, 2 strikes. This is number 1. Stepping up there, choking down on that bat. And she's going to swing and miss, and so down she goes. And I believe that is the first K for Martinez. That is her first strikeout of the ball game.
Hopefully first of many.
Now we move up back to the top of the lineup. This 16, she's going to square away and are squared away to bunt and then hit it foul. And so everybody got to be moving on that. We was kind of slow on our rotation. When she squared away, everybody's feet were planted for a second. Right. So 0-1 after the fouled off bunt attempt. Here comes the next pitch. And that one's going to be a little high for ball 1. So 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out.
A lot of ones on the board.
A lot of ones. And there's a high fly foul, going to get back out of play. And the ump signaling over there to the home dugout that he's
ain't got no balls.
He has got no balls. And so we've got 1 ball, 2 strikes. Ump getting him some balls.
Somebody get that on some balls.
We've got 1 out here in a 2-0 game. So stepping back in there is 1-6. Here comes the pitch from Martinez. It's hit right down the line. It's going to stay fair. Riley Dillard comes up gunning, and it's going to be a double with an RBI there. So an RBI double for the leadoff batter, number 1-6.
And that'll make the score 3-0 favor of Artesia JV.
And here comes number 12. Young lady had an RBI single and a single, so she has hit the ball every time she's got to the plate today. She's up there trying to make it 3 for 3. She takes that first one, yes. So 1 ball, no strikes here to 1-2. Martinez in the circle, going to kick and fire. Here comes the pitch. It's inside. And so that'll make it 2-0. So 2-0 here to 1-2. Stepping back up there, ready to go. There's a drive, and it's going to get to center. Pierce going to come up firing. She's going to throw it toward home. They started to cut it, then they throw it back to center or to second. And so we'll call it probably not the way it should be scored, but on my paperwork, I'm going to put here an RBI double. Should have been a single RBI, and then the base on the past runner, but I ain't the official score stat keeper anyway.
Second, called a double.
There you go. There's a swing and a miss. So we got 1 out here. It's a 4-0 game. They've put up 2 runs in the top of the first. They've now put up 2 runs here in the 5th. And up to the plate is number 17, the lefty. And she lets that one go outside for ball 1. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out here to the lefty, 1-7.
But when our girls get hot on the bats, we can make up them points. We just got to get to hitting.
Just got to get something going here. And I think coming out of this or later in this inning, we will be getting started back near the top of the lineup. So that's definitely a positive if there's some positives in these 2 runs they've scored here in this part of the inning. Ooh, there's a very late
At least he showed us.
Yeah, he kind of turned around and looked at us like, here, I'll show you. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and an out. A 4-0 game. 1-7 in there, and she's going to reach out and touch that one. Slaps it to Zamora. Zamora going to pitch it over underhanded and get him. And so down she goes on the ground out. So 1-7 on the ground out.
Runner down to third, but all we need is 1 out, girls.
So now 1-5 comes to the plate. She's hit fly balls for outs in her first trips to the plate. So she has put the bat on the ball, and she's going to take that one for a strike. Yep. Look a little inside, but we'll take her. 0-1 here, 2 outs, runner on third. And that ball got down on the turf, and that young lady on third was heading down the line. She quickly turned around and ran back when Nieto grabbed it. And there is a drive into left field. It is way back. It's off the fence. It's going to score a run, and she's going to stand up into second with an RBI double.
Making the score 5-0.
Yep, and now that'll bring up number 7. Young lady's the pitcher, batting in the 5 spot. 2 outs. It's a 5-0 game. Here comes the pitch. That first pitch going to be inside for ball 1.
You know what 5-0 is? It used to be that.
Yeah, the Popos. You got to outsmart them Popos.
5-0, 5-0.
5-0. That is your score. And there's a chopped foul headed over toward the first base dugout. It's going to rotate around and bounce up in the bleachers. So 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs here. 5-0 game. Not a whole lot of people hustling for that ball, but one says he'll take it.
I don't know if they give you a Coke anymore when you do that.
Hey, that's that hat that young man's got on. I recognize that hat. That's an Art by Fish hat right there. You don't see too many of those, but I know that. Yes, that is my main man, Mike Fish. That's his hat. And there's a drive into left field. Dillard going to come up and make the grab, and so great job there by Dillard. Yeah, my main man, Mike Fish, is the guy that painted the Eunice mural up there on the wall. He paints he calls it the Brody. If you drive around New Mexico, you're liable to see some graffiti, and I can neither confirm nor deny that Mike Fish is the artist of that graffiti, but you will see the Brody on tanks and signs and trees and overpasses. Yeah, I guess it's a little person with like a mask on.
Yeah.
Kind of looks almost like a bird head on a little person, and he calls that the Brody.
The Brody.
And anyway, that I saw that hat come by, and it had a Brody on it.
Yeah,
and so when you recognize the Brody as you drive around, especially Ruidoso, Capitan, up towards Santa Fe, if once you know the Brody, you'll be driving down the road going, "There's a Brody! Hey, there's a Brody!" So you see them in some strange places, but. There's a Brody on our Eunice sign up there, but most people probably don't see it.
Don't
and
realize it.
He hides a lot of stuff in his art, which is kind of cool. And if you don't know it, you don't see it there.
Right.
And there's lots of little hidden things in the Eunice mural that probably 90% of the community has no idea are there. But if you get up there and look real close, you might find some little things. So here we go. It's a 5-0 game. Bella Pierce. The young lady has a single and a ground out here in this ball game so far. She comes to the plate. She's going to swing and drive that first one foul over the first base dugout. She hit it hard and went way over there toward the elementary. But yes. Yeah, you hit that between the foul poles, and there's some trouble happening out there. And that one's going to be low and inside for ball one. So 1 ball, no strike, or 1 ball, 1 strike, I'm sorry. To Bella. Bella, I believe, is a sophomore. Is that right? Is she a junior? Sophomore? Sophomore, yeah. Yep. Probably going to be one of Coach Wilson's returning volleyball players as well here next year. So 2 balls, 2 strikes here to Bella. She's in there ready. Here comes the pitch from Elway, and she's going to swing at that one. She kind of chased it, and down she goes. That is the 5th strikeout for Elway, number 7, as they all give the pitcher a little high-five action. And now here comes Jones. See if Jones could hit about a 5-run homer here, and we'd be in business.
Yeah, we need to hit 5 of them right now.
That's right, as she takes that first one inside for ball 1 on a slow change up. So 1 ball, no strikes, 1 out. Here comes the pitch, and that one is, he pushed it out. Man, I've never seen an ump do that. And I've called hundreds of these games. He'll wait till the catcher's got it in the glove and then lean over there and get right behind the glove and like he's trying to make a decision. There's a high fly ball to shallow center. Center fielder going to run up and make the grab. And so Jones goes down on the fly out, shallow center. She hit it a mile high, just like where John Elway used to play in the orange, which is your pitcher.
Pitcher, yep.
So here comes Leilene Zamora. She's got a line out and a ground out in her 2 trips to the plate today. 2 outs. That first pitch is going to be a little low and outside for ball 1.
Get this in time to get a 2-out rally going, ladies.
Yep. So Zamora steps back in there. Here comes the pitch. And that one's a ball 2. 2 balls, no strikes here for Zamora.
Look at it awfully peculiarly.
Yeah, he kind of like leans over and it's like he's trying to decide after the fact. And there's a chopper toward short. It's going to get through. And so Zamora now standing on first. And she's going to give the Lady Cardinals an opportunity to score a run here as now Nieto comes to the plate. She walked her first trip up. Then had a high pop fly for the out, her second trip. So Nieto's up there.
They're all due for something good.
Yeah, got to get them bats going here if we got any chance. Got to get them bats going. We are right dab square in the middle of our lineup right here. Here in the 5th inning, and she chops that one foul right into the green here in front of us.
Oh, we're going to have to catch it there for a minute.
Yeah. Might catch it with your twofers.
You might not want to, huh?
So 1 ball, 1 strike here. That is the first time that I've seen that ump hold up the count like that. He actually held it up where we could see what the count was, and there's a pitch that – and he called a strike over here. Yeah, like 3-4 seconds after, while the ball was over at first, he signaled the strike.
Oh,
so,
by the way, that's a strike. In case y'all want to know.
1 ball, 2 strikes, and there's a swing and a miss, and down goes Nieto on the strikeout. That is the 6th K for this pitcher, and so we will move into the 6th. Your score, Artesia 5, Eunice 0. You're listening to No Mark Broadcasting's coverage of Eunice Cardinal Sports.
Redbird Garage is your hometown local mechanic shop specializing in minor and major repairs from oil changes, car washes, brake work, AC repair, and so much more. For more information, call 575-394-8828. Call 575-394-8828. Redbird Garage, 1800 North Main Street is your hometown mechanic shop, committed to always doing what's right for you and your vehicle. Redbird Garage is a proud supporter of Lee County athletics and academics.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to No Mark Broadcasting's coverage of Eunice Cardinal Sports here live in Eunice. The Lady Cards trail Artesia JV 5-0. Just hadn't been able to get the bats going. That's the story of the game here. Got 6 strikeouts for the Lady Cardinals here. And now trying to see, that's number 5. So this is the pitcher, who I've been referring to as Elway. Yeah. No, that is not correct. Pitcher is 7. This is 5. This is Johnny 5 is alive. Johnny number 5. Johnny 5 is alive. She steps in there ready, and she drives that one to Gaetan, and Gaetan says, I will take it.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah. That is the 2nd line drive out. And so it is now 1 out here, a 5-0 game, and coming to the plate is number 2-4. And that first pitch skips off the turf about 4 or 5 foot out in front of home. So 1-0, 1 out. Here comes the next pitch. And that one's going to be inside for ball 2. So 2-0.
Maybe that arm's getting a little tired.
Once again, we've got more baseball coming up later this week, Friday and Saturday. You know, the interesting thing about softball is, and I'm not saying the arm don't get tired, but it doesn't get tired like in baseball because of that underhand motion. They say it's not as hard on the body, basically.
Yes, they don't really have a pitch count. They have to adhere to.
And there's a high foul ball. So it's 2-2 count. To number 24, Melanie Nieto in the circle. Not anymore? Oh, no, I said it's Martinez. I'm sorry, I'm losing it. And they drive over there and they get her on the little chopper. Yeah, it's Martinez. I'm losing it. I'm completely lost. So a ground out here.
Brings up number 8 in the orange.
So here we go. 2 outs in a 5-0 game. 8 is a young lady had a ground out and a double her last trip to the plate. She doubled. And so she steps in here. Is this the other young lady that pitches sometimes? Yeah. So 5-0 is your score here. Here comes the pitch, swung on and foul tip, and Nieto hangs on to it. That was what a while ago I was saying Nieto, but I'm looking right at Nieto. She's right in front, but it's Martinez that's in the circle. So I've got Martinez throwing to Nieto, and there's a chopper, and it's going to get right between Jones and Gaetan, and then they're going to throw it back in really quickly and hold her to a single. And so number 8 with the single. So that'll bring up number 1. Young lady had a ground out and a strikeout her last trip up. And she's now got a runner on first with 2 outs. We're in the top of the 6th, and she's going to swing and miss at that one. So it's 0-1. Got Gaetan on third, Jones at short, Zamora standing out there at second, and of course Klaus over at first. Out in center field, you've got Pierce. Over in left, you got Dillard. And then over in right, I'm assuming that's going to be Garcia. There's the pitch, going to be low for ball 2. So 2-1.
Unless he decides to want to put another strike in there.
It's like, yeah, we'll call that other one while ago too. And there's a swing and a miss, and down goes. Oh no, that's 2. My bad.
2-2.
That's a 2-2-2.
Well, we're not going to even think about it.
No, we don't do any of that. We did that the other day.
It cost us.
Got ahead of ourselves. So 2 balls, 2 strikes. Here comes the pitch. Swung on and missed, and down she goes. Martinez with her second K of the ball game, and that'll get the Lady Cardinals out of that one. And so as we move to the bottom of the 6th, the Cardinals trail 5-0. You're listening to No Mark Broadcasting's coverage of Eunice Cardinal Sports.
Did you know that Cardinal Hardware isn't just your ordinary hardware store? They're your one-stop destination for all your hardware needs. As the sole hardware store in town, they take pride in being locally owned and operated, serving the community with dedication and care. Cardinal Hardware is fully stocked with all the essentials you need, ensuring you can find everything you're looking for right in Eunice. Cardinal Hardware in Eunice, another proud sponsor of all Lee County sports and academics.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to No Mark Broadcasting's coverage of Eunice Cardinal Sports here live in Eunice. Shout out to some of these sponsors as Lizzie Gaetan comes to the plate, swings and chops that one foul. Eunice Pump and Supply, Eunice Public Schools, Redbird Gas, Parker Energy, NMR Pipeline, Outlaw Grill, Guns Up Services, Thomas Welding, Eunice Wrecker, Redbird Garage, and they helped us with some rosters and stuff today, so shout out and thanks to them. Cardinal Hardware, Debbie's Country Kitchen, the City of Eunice, Badger Hydrovac, Eunice Health Clinic, IPS Incorporated, NMJC. In fact, the JC ought to be playing right now. Their game tipped off, and there's a drive into center. It's way back there, and the center fielder made a heck of a catch as Gaetan absolutely gave that one a ride. When it first came off the bat, I thought it might get out of here.
You know, if the wind was blowing the other direction, it probably would have.
Lavelle Insurance and Burrito Beast. If you have not gotten over there to get you a Burrito Beast, then you are missing out. I will tell you, is that first pitch is out there for ball 1. I'm assuming he never gave a signal at all. He never pushed out like he usually does on the outside. He never gave the fist pump. He just didn't say nothing.
It was just all in his head, whatever he did.
So 1 ball, 1 strike. The junior college this year has the National Junior College Player of the Year on their team, which I don't know that I've ever heard of that happening. They were a 16 seed, and they've made it all the way to the championship game. They defeated the 4 seed, they defeated the 1 seed, and now they're sitting in the championship game, which is going on right now, and so I hadn't been able to keep up. So any of my peeps out there that have any updates, let me know.
Whoa,
as there's a strike.
That one fast.
So 2 balls, 2 strikes here. As Martinez is at the plate. 1 out in a 5-0 game, and that one's going to be high for ball 3. So now we got 3-2-1. Artemis taking off tomorrow. I think it's like 10:50 tomorrow morning is when it's scheduled for. Hoping the weather stays good, and that one's inside for ball 4. So heading over is Martinez as she earns the walk, trying to help her own cause. As that'll bring up Jazzy Klaus, and man, I smell nachos or something. Yeah, that's it. I smell them. I knew it. I know a nacho when I smell one, and I'm not talking about Libre either. Like stretchy pants. That's not. I'm talking about like nachos with little jalapenos on them. Yeah, I smell them. So Jazzy Klaus comes to the plate. A runner on first. 1 out, and she drives that one into center. Jazzy with an absolute shot. Trying to run his Macy. She's going to have to get down.
She's safe.
Oh, man, he calls her safe, and so Macy,
Macy
didn't slide. She kind of dropped to her knees. I think that was Macy. Was that Macy? All right. So Jazzy Klaus with a double. The coach from Artesia not liking the call. He comes out to talk to the ump. It was a very delayed for sure call. And so coming up now is going to be Gretchen Ball, the lefty, I believe.
Well, he definitely studies his calls before he makes them.
He does. And he does it on all of them. So I give him that. Now sometimes he'll study them and never make a signal. So you're sitting up here going like, okay, what is it?
He's talking to himself inside.
So Macy Pascal standing on third, jumps off for the lead after that pitch there. She's ball one, here to Ball. So Ball up there, ready to go. Need to get a rally going here as there's a chopper toward the pitcher. Pitcher going to turn around and fire it and just gets her as the pitcher did a good job looking the runner back. And
2 away.
Yes. And so now we're back to the top of the lineup. Riley Dillard with 2 outs.
Give us a ride.
Young lady had a ground out twice and a single as she steps up there, and that was that changeup that took about 5 minutes from the time it left the pitcher's hand to get to the mitt, and there was never a call. We're assuming it's a ball.
She had plenty of time to study that one on the way in.
Yep. So here we go, 1-0. Here comes the next one, and that one's driven foul into the screen. So now we got a 1-1 count.
Man, we've had some on base. We've left the bases loaded once and had left 2 on a couple of times.
Yes, we've left a lot of runners on the bags in this game. That would have been a definite difference maker up to this point. So let's see if we can get something going. That one's going to be outside for ball 2. So 2-1. As Dillard steps back in there. She's a lefty. Her bats from the left side anyway. Here's that pitch, and it's going to be low and outside for ball 3. So 3 balls, 1 strike here. She looks down there at Coach Kemple. I made a little cartoon caricature of him with muscles today.
I've seen that.
They're going to step in here ready, and she's going to swing and hit that one toward the pitcher. The shortstop makes a heck of a play, and down goes Dillard on the ground out. And that was a great play by the shortstop because that ball looked like it touched the pitcher's glove. And coming in behind her, firing it over, is the shortstop. And so, anyway, we'll just keep it here. I was going to look and see if anybody had any updates on NMJC. It said they were up by 2 at the half 20 minutes ago, 29-27 in the national championship game. Wow. Up 2. Okay. Third quarter.
Already?
Said it's the middle of the third quarter, 29-29. It's a tie ball game for the T-Birds.
Oh,
man.
That'll be a good one to be watching right now.
Yeah, definitely.
If I wasn't keeping score, we could have the game on here, you
know? Yeah, I tell people all the time, if you've never been over there to watch NMJC, you are missing out.
Oh, yeah.
It is, people just don't understand. They'll pay money to go over to Tech and watch a Tech game. And don't get me wrong, Tech's amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Any given year, though, in any sport over at NMJC, you'll have a dozen D1 players over there that next year will be playing at Tech, or shoot, I think there's like 4 kids going to the University of Miami this year that were at NMJC last year. There's 2 starters at UNM, the Lobos, that played for the JC last year. There's one playing for Kentucky. There's one playing for Arkansas. I mean, it's like people don't. They'll go pay big money to go watch these other schools, and I'm like, man, you got NMJC right there that's free. You can go watch them for free, and it's packed with D1 talent, and people won't go watch them, and I just scratch my head. I think people look at JUCO, and that's not normal JUCO over there. What most people think of as normal JUCO.
Yeah.
3-0. I mean, shoot, the last couple of Olympics have had multiple NMJC kids that either ran at NMJC or were still at NMJC
and
running in the Olympics. And there's a drive into shallow center, or I'm sorry, shallow right, and it's going to stay foul.
So a full count, money pitch coming up.
Yeah, man, it is neat to see the level of kids that they have over there playing. Their track team is just absolutely loaded. There's a high fly ball to center. Coming up is Pierce, and she's going to easily make the grab. And so a good play there by her, as that was the top of the lineup. And so that'll bring up number 12. Young lady's got an RBI single, an RBI double, and a plain single, if there is such a thing, in her 3 trips to the plate. So she has got on base every single time she stepped up there with a hit. 2 singles and a double.
Stayed a little high.
So 2-0 here to her. 1 out, a 5-0 score. And there's a hit towards center. Center fielder trying to get to it. Pierce going to grab it. She did a good job keeping it to 1. And that is another single. That's 3 singles and a double for that young lady. As now coming to the plate will be number 17. This young lady's got 2 singles and a ground out in her 3 trips to the plate.
She looked like she could give one a ride, I'll tell you that.
Yeah. So the lefty, I don't know if we had a substitution or what happened there, but
you just over thinking about that. Was that really an out?
Oh, got a runner. Yep.
Yeah.
So here comes that next pitch, and that young lady had some wheels, and Nieto did a really good job of firing it over there. Jones does a good job with the stop and made it a pretty close play. You could tell when the young lady took off, she could run. She looks like a runner.
Yep.
Took like 3 steps and was standing on the next base. As they fire that one over to first, get the lead runner. And
2 away.
Yep. So that'll bring up 1-5. This young lady has an RBI double her last trip to the plate. She hit pop flies into the outfield for her first 2 trips to the plate.
Almost hit her own runner.
So flew out twice and then had an RBI double her last visit up there. So 0-1 here after the foul ball. 2 outs, a 5-0 score. Here comes the pitch. That one's low and inside for ball number 1. 1-1. There's a drive towards short and
got through.
Goes off the edge of the glove of Jones, going to score the run. And so standing on first now is 1-5 as she gets the single. And ends up being an RBI single out of that deal. And so now number 7 comes to the plate.
That'll be Elway, as we've been naming her.
So I just got an update, said that Arizona went on a run. It's 38-35. They lead by 5 here. Still in the 3rd quarter.
2 balls.
Yeah. So 2-0 here. Wife telling me she's wore out. She says she thinks we should stay home. So we may stay home today. So 2-0.
Y'all go and go and go.
We don't slow down very often.
Y'all like some Energizer bunnies.
There is not many evenings that we're not on the run somewhere. It doesn't happen very often.
It don't hurt to have a little slow down for a night.
Yeah. There's a chop.
Oh my goodness.
Right over the infield into the outfield, and so that's going to be a single.
Good ball placement.
And so next up will be number 5. She's lined out twice and had a ground out. As it is 6-0 here, the score in the top of the 7th. That first pitch is, it's going to say it was down the inside, and that young lady shook her head no. Turned around, looked at the ump, and shook her head. Here comes the next pitch, and that was going to be high. 1 ball, 1 strike. Yeah, yesterday she had to give a presentation to what they call the cabinet over at Hubs.
Seen that. How'd she do?
It was the superintendent and all the assistant superintendents, as well as a couple of principals, and so she had to give that presentation. And
she could have got it.
And she did really good.
Yeah.
She did really good. That's right up her alley.
Well, she reminds me of Angelica. She worries and worries and worries, and she does a great job.
She said she woke up about 3:30, couldn't go back to sleep, was in there studying all of her stuff, and there's a drive into shallows, right, and the first baseman and the right fielder collide, or that was the second baseman and the right fielder that collide.
She's coming
and she's going to go all the way around and end up with an in-the-park homer out of that deal.
Goodness.
So
that just was a.
And our second baseman was slow getting up there as she does finally get to her feet and heads back into the infield. So we had a collision between the second baseman and the right fielder.
Yeah, she's not walking too swiftly.
Look like me when I get out of bed and need to go to the bathroom in the
every
middle of the
morning.
night. The wife laughs at me because all you can hear is just my body's cracking as I'm trying to make it down the hallway.
Well, it gets worse. I'll tell you.
Yeah. But she shook them off and stayed in there. That's kind of the way I do when the wife's laughing at me. I shake her off and keep on strolling down the hall.
Making it in there, huh?
Just crack-a-lacking. So 9-0 is your score here now. They put up 4 here in the top of the 7th. Here comes the first pitch, and it's low and inside for ball 1. So stepping back in there is Martinez. Here comes the pitch, and that one's going to bounce off the foot, and it will be ball 2. So Martinez stepping back into the circle. It's a 2-0 count. 2 outs. Here's the pitch, and that one's going to be down that outside edge, or inside edge for strike 1. So 2-1 here, 2-1-2. Sounds like a zone defense in basketball. And there's a high fly ball to deep left field.
She got that one.
Dillard going to go back there and make the grab. And she does, and so down they go.
So we're going to have a good run here.
All we need is a 10-run inning, and we can get back in this ball game as you're listening to No Mark Broadcasting's coverage of Eunice Cardinal Sports.
Around here, we work hard on the field, in the classroom, and in life. And companies like Parker Energy, they're in our corner. Since 2006, they've delivered expert transport, pump truck, back truck, and disposal services. But more than that, they've supported us, our schools, our sports, our future. Thanks, Parker Energy, for showing up and believing in what we can do.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to No Mark Broadcasting's coverage of Eunice Cardinal Sports. And stepping to the plate, here is 1-3. That's Bella Pierce. Pierce steps up there ready to go. And so, got Chloe asking me what I'm doing. I'm broadcasting. What you think I'm doing?
I get the same thing. My wife knew exactly what I was doing. She made a phone. She calls me.
Yeah.
I'm just going to let you know I left some food in the refrigerator. Okay, I'm busy.
So 0-2. There's a high fly, infield fly over to third, and the third baseman's going to come up and make that catch. And so down goes Pierce on the infield fly. And so that'll bring up Jones.
Definitely not your typical JV team.
Jones got a walk, a single, and a fly out. And she's going to step in there ready to go. Here comes the first pitch, and that one's high for ball 1. So 1-0 to Jones. She's up there ready. Here comes the next pitch, and that one's driven.
Oh, my goodness.
Very high up over first, and the first baseman snow-coned it.
Almost lost it.
And she's going to make the catch on the fly out for Jones. And so that'll bring up Leilene Zamora. Zamora's got she lined out, a ground out, and a kind of a single while ago, her last trip up there. And so Zamora steps in there ready. She takes that first one. I don't even know what all that was.
I don't know what he was doing.
It looked like he was showing us rainbows or something. So 1 ball, no strikes here. Either that or like when I was a kid, I'd go out in the yard and pretend like I had an airplane in my hand. I'd be like, not sure that's not what he would do.
I don't know what's going on up in there under that helmet.
1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs. Here comes the pitch. Swung on and missed for strike 2. So 1 ball, 2 strikes. Something going here. We're going to go home early. Here comes that pitch, and it is outside.
Trying to get her to swing out there.
So now we got a 2-2-2. Rock boogie, oogie, oogie. Wee, 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 wee. We ain't got to do that over here on the softball field. That's the first time in several games, and that pitch is going to be high for ball 3. So 3-2.
Money pitch coming up.
Got a full count. Got 2 outs. Here comes the next one. And it's driven into left field. And Zamora with the Rock Boogie Oogie single. As it works.
Definitely
about 80% of the time, I think our Rock Boogie Oogie is good. It's coming
works on the other team.
That's true. Yeah, you don't want to do it for the other team. As Melanie Nieto comes to the plate. She got a runner on first. 2 outs. We need a rally here. And that pitch is going to be high and outside for ball 1. So just still here checking.
Yeah, I think I like the kind of like hazy because it's not so hot.
And so
swinging for strike 1.
Yeah, definitely.
1-1, 2 outs.
Trying to look here and see a mother deal. There's a drive high into shallow center. Center fielder going to come up and make the catch. And so down we go, as I believe that'll do it, as the Lady Cards fall here to the Artesia JV 9-0. Quick shout out to some of these sponsors one more time. Burrito Beast, Lavelle Insurance, NMJC, IPS Incorporated, Eunice Health Clinic, Badger Hydrovac, the City of Eunice, Debbie's Country Kitchen, Cardinal Hardware, Redbird Garage, thanks to Josh and Erica Jones for keeping us updated with the lineups, Eunice Wrecker, Thomas Welding, Guns Up Services, Outlaw Grill, NMR Pipeline, Parker Energy, Redbird Gas, Eunice Public Schools, Eunice Pump and Supply. Charlie, any final thoughts?
Man, it was kind of a tough one, but like you said, it's not your typical JV team. This Artesia team is a real deal.
Yeah, anytime you play Artesia in anything, you can expect to be in for a battle. They just, you know, they're just good. Even when they're bad, they're good. They're kind of like, I always tell people that our baseball and football teams are kind of like that. They just, even when most people around here say, "Oh, we're not very good that year,"
still pretty good.
You're a top 5 team probably in the entire state in your division. Yeah. And you know, you know, that's how Artesia is in just about everything. And so, anyway, the Lady Cards fall here 9-0. We will not be covering the JV game here in just a minute. I believe our JV will now turn around and play a lot of these same kids in another matchup. We will not be covering that game. We will
be here Friday. With the baseball.
Friday be baseball. Who do we play? Do you remember? I don't remember.
Man,
I got it somewhere on my phone. But so we'll have baseball Friday, and we're supposed to have baseball Saturday as well. I know Resendo said he couldn't make Saturday. Saturday is Loving. Who is Friday? Grady. Grady.
That might be a tough game.
Might be Gravy.
Gravy
or Grady?
Might not be Gravy.
Yeah, not Gravy. We'll take some Grady. So, anyway, for Charlie Fairbrush, Resendo Caballero, Evie and everyone back at One Radio Square, I'm Jimmy Jones saying thanks for listening. We'll see you next time. We'll see you Friday.
Good night, everybody.